right now, we've got one person for public comment, is Joe Black. Joe, if you'll come on up. If you'll state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes.
I approach the council for assistance of Magic Creek. I need a couple big volunteers.
Big volunteers.
Sure, go ahead, Jay.
Okay. Young lady, I'd like for you to take this envelope, open it up, examine it, see if there's nothing in it. You take this dollar bill, legal tender, nothing wrong with it, make a mark, a number, a symbol, whatever, and fold it in half, where nobody but you will know what it is. Now, would you take that envelope, make sure nothing's in it,
Yeah,
and seal it up,
seal it?
seal it up,
Okay.
like you're gonna put it in the mail. Okay. I take this dollar bill, I fold it up. And guess what? It's going to disappear right before your very eyes. Now then, here comes the fun part. Now, you don't know me, do you?
Nope,
We've never met.
nope,
There's no way I know what's in there, right?
nope.
We'll see. You done good. You sealed it up good. Well, you did good with it. Open that up, see if that's a dollar.
That was it.
All right, thank you. I've got one more. I've got time. I got one more. I don't need the assistance of that young attractive lady again. Would you examine this piece of rope, please? Tell me, is that indeed a piece of rope?
It is.
So yes, it is.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it is, Santa. Now, if you'll notice, there's nothing in this bag. I put my hand through it. You can see through it. Nothing in the bag. Now, I take the rope you so meticulously inspected. I place it in the bag. Your name is Amber, is that right?
Yes.
Amber has to be the magic word today. When I say Amber, pull the rope out, it's going to be tied in the middle. That's it. I'm done now.
That's good, Joe.
Wasted up time, I'm done now. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.
Last, sir.
Thank you, Joe. Is there anybody else, public comments for tonight? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Any updates from council? None, we'll move forward again. The consent agenda, there's 4 items on the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be talked about in the consent agenda before we move forward? Or to be brought out of the consent agenda?
Yeah, if there's anything you'd like me to cover in consent, let's see. Yeah, tax releases, refunds are pretty straightforward. We had several, a total just over $13,123. The budget amendment for the FEMA project grant ordinance, we needed to ask that y'all appropriate an additional $130,000. This was just to account for the additional expenses that went beyond what we estimated at the beginning for the Helene damages. So it was $130,000. It covered engineering expenses and some of the hard costs of the repairs. And we're done with the project. I mean, I can't guarantee something else won't come, but we're essentially done with all the repairs out there. So we don't anticipate another amendment on that. So now it's just the process of getting reimbursement from FEMA. So that's what item 5 is about. And then item 6 under consent is the appointment of Susan Hefner, the Deputy Finance Officer. Susan has for several years been serving as our deputy tax collector and also accounting technician. and she would move into the deputy finance officer role. Candy Broom, who's worked for us for
Yep.
30-plus years, is going to be transitioning out, retiring. Her last working day will be this Friday, and then she'll be on leave, retirement, on leave through the end of the calendar year. So December 31st will be her last official day, but last working day this week, the 7th, and then off on leave. So we're trying to plan to cover, like the deputy finance, we need that for, if we need someone else to write checks, or not write, but an extra signature, like if Heather was out. And then like pre-audit stamps, things like that. It doesn't happen very often, but just to have that backup. And Candy was in that role, so Susan would step into that. And so that's item 6. And then, sorry, is there a question?
Well, is anybody gonna, are you gonna do like a little lunch tour or anything there?
Yes, yes. This Friday at noon, we're going to have pizza from Acropolis and just kind of, recognize her for, she didn't want a big
She
to-do
was
party.
very
So,
adamant.
yeah,
She
so,
let me know today, she came to my office again.
yeah.
Well, we won't tell her that I brought that up in the meeting.
So we're not opening it to the general, obviously, council members, y'all, of course, would love to see you there, invite, but yeah, like Eric's retirement was a bigger thing where he had a nice
Right.
cross-section of the community there, but, so yeah, this Friday at noon, if you can stop by, that'd be great, and thanks for asking that. And I don't know if Heather was going to send something out on that or not. We just wanted to be respectful. She wanted to
Her wishes, yeah.
Item 7 is the resolution to appoint Susan Hefner as tax collector, which would officially become effective on January 1st. And she already has tax collection authority. All authorities or authorization authority that current tax collector has, the levy, and all the collection tools that they can use. So those are all the items under consent, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Any further questions on that?
No.
Okay. Moving into our discussion items, number 8, proposed street resurfacing project for 2026. The town manager and also Jabbo Presley's here to discuss.
Yeah, and I was just going to defer to Jabbo to talk about the 3 streets and kind of our prioritization process. So Jabbo, you can.
John, thanks for the opportunity to be here and speak to you about it. One thing I'd like to point out is that I've been here for 13 years. And during this 13 years, we've paved over 40 roads. We still got 80 left to do. You go through the cycle. It takes right at 30 to 40 years to go through our cycle.
Wow.
And that was when funding, our funding is basically the same now as it was. But the price of asphalt per mile really come down. Usually we can get 8 tenths, even up to a mile, just on some road. But now, this year, what we're proposing is just a little over half a mile. That's going to get our budget. One thing is the roads we pave. I've got 3 roads proposed to be paved for this year. That's Mad Pathway Drive, and Walk Court. Both of those are in the first section of Livingston Farm, and Stafford Court, which is in Stafford Crossing off the road. The problem with these roads is that they're wide. And so the wider the road, the less mileage we can get. If we was just paving, certain streets like Scarlet, Briar and Berry, where they're just 18 feet wide, it really adds up. But this year, it took a big difference. Last year, we paved 9/10 of a mile. This year, we're proposing to pay 0.5 times, so 600. So it's not much. We're going to pay 300 feet more this year than we did last year. But we'll see the prices that it increase. Just the cost estimate, last year we spent a little over $230,000 for the bid. And this year just projecting it's gonna be around 260. Or 350. But with the cost of everything, it goes on. And, I would like to mention one of the roads is Stafford Court. That's where they're doing the sewer line. We're not gonna pay that section. But the other section where it circles back around, the Brookshire Circle, the pavement is separate. It's cracked up, it's coming up. It's gonna have to be done. That's gonna be the highest priority on our list. It was not the worst rated road, but it's turned into the worst road that we have to deal with. So that's gonna have to be addressed this year. And that's just what we'd like to propose. I've been in contact with Ben from the Gills, and we're in much discussion about this. He's looked at it, we looked at it. What we'd like to do is build, after we get y'all to listen, is to go out and start making it come up with a more accurate contest. What we do is we go out, and I will, and we will walk the road, look at it, see what it needs, see what we can do for it today.
Think this one will be like Snowball,
No.
one of those problems.
Well, I can't say that honestly. Stafford Court, which precedes every one of us, that came in here. And the drainage on it is crazy. You know, this time the roads are ground, water goes onto this. This in here, the water runs down the middle of the road, and there's drains in the middle of the road. So,
Don't know what you got.
when we get into that, you know what you're going to do. I can never take another like this. But we do have that, and so we're going to do it. And that's what we're.
But there's a little different history, I think, with Snowball, with,
Oh, yes, yes.
yeah, with some of the debris, vegetative debris that was
Dumped
based in
there,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't anticipate we'll see that with Stafford Court, but when they get in there and they're testing the subgrade, they'll do an estimate of how much subgrade it needs.
Right.
But when they go in there and probe, and they might hit a soft spot that needs more, which then's more cost.
Reinforcing, right.
Or it could be less, and we get a change order where they're deducting material costs.
Yeah, sometimes it's more, sometimes it is less. If we don't, you need an estimate just you basically. And you plan for the worst, and that's the best. Sometimes you get the best, sometimes you don't. Like Snowball, you got a lot worse than what you do everything.
Yeah.
And we knew it was gonna be bad, and then it was gonna be that. So, but that, anyway, that's what we like to propose.
Are we gonna leave the drains in the middle of the road as they are and try not to disturb all that mess?
All we'll do is we'll mill out around
Yep.
and see, it's curved on, asphalt curved on both sides.
Yeah.
But on that road there is this is where it's gonna be tricky, is that there's on-street parking, but it's perpendicular. And we don't, that's off our maintenance thing, so we have to be able to touch that road. And so what we'll do is we'll have to mill down a little bit and raise it, come back to it. So we're basically gonna go back the same, because you can't raise it too much. If you raise the middle of it, it's gonna water the pond.
Are we gonna approach the HOA to see if they want to do something at the same time, or just,
Well, I thought, we could do that, that's where I came work before I came here, that was definitely better.
okay,
Because, it's like, this is, we'll put this on this side instead of, just make up here where it belongs. So I will let them know what we're gonna do, once they get y'all's blessing, so they can know what's going on.
okay. Perfect.
Sounds good.
Ben would, I don't know if you're going to cover it, Ben, so McGill Associates, probably Ben Cathy will, at the December meeting, come back with a cost estimate. I mean, they'll do a little more detailed. Magevo does a good estimate based on past cost and some measurements of the linear feet and the total area. We think, and it depends on how competitive the bids come in, but we've been doing fairly well with the bidding process by doing it in this timeline where you hear about this in the fall, winter, and then we bid it like early winter, and we tend to receive better bids, so, because we'd like to try and do it within our current allocation and how much we have in the dispersing account, so we don't have to go to reserves or cut back some part of the project to save money, so that's the goal with this, but it'll depend on quotes, how they come in bids.
Any more discussion on item number 8? Thank you, Chad,
Thank
for
you.
everything, all your hard
Thanks,
work,
Chad.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Jabba.
Discussion number 9, item number 9 is the extension of the Cane Creek Greenway. That will be a presentation done next week by Ben, Kathy. So we'll go to discussion item number 10. Update of the 5-year capital improvement plan. Mr. Town Manager.
All right, thanks. Trevor, and council, you have in your packet all the instructions that were sent out to department heads about a week and a half ago. And typically, with the 5-year capital improvement plan, we try and work on the new one in like the fall before the new one would take effect. So that's why the instructions are going out now. And I didn't have in your packet, but I put a copy down on the dais here. Like, this is the current approved plan, and we're in the last year, this year 5. So, and I would comment, we've accomplished or purchased or implemented most of the projects that are on this list. We may have 1 or 2, like the Tahoe SUV from, it's like Jabo's duty vehicle. We didn't feel that it needed to be replaced in the last one. We were able to extend the life on it. But most of the items on this list have been done. And then as we receive the project requests from department heads and then vet those, what I would do is come back to you hopefully in December with like a proposed project list. And then it would be a list of items over 5 years where we try and program them in to, on an annual fiscal year basis into the 5-year CIP. And again, we fund this with 4 cents right now, 6 cents of our tax levy. We were at 8.5 cents years ago. We scaled that back just to other budget impacts and pressure. So 6 cents of our tax levy, what the levy produces on 6 cents, we're taking that out of our 28 cents tax rate to fund this. You could have other revenue sources like grant money or something else you might want to dedicate to it, but it's worked fairly well with just using part of the tax levy. And again, the types of projects that are funded under it can be land, construction of new buildings, renovations or expansions to existing buildings, improvements on the land like parking lots, storm drainage improvements, things like that, and then equipment. And you'll see, for example, Public Works has had several types of pieces of equipment that are like things that need to be replaced or expanded, garbage trucks, so for our refuse collection. The police department has done a rotation list that's based on annual purchases within the CIP for their rotation of vehicles to keep the fleet fresh. So those are some things you'll probably see back in here again, and there may be some new ones. But again, the whole overall purpose is to try and plan over a 5-year period our capital, what we would deem capital needs in here for existing services and maybe some expansion of services as well. And try and take some pressure off the operating budget. So we started this like about 17 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. think I worked on the first one with council, so. So that's it in a nutshell. We'll get those, they're due November 26th from the department heads. But I also wanted to share this with you, if there's something that jumps out at you that you would like us to look at as a possibility for a capital project, let us know so we can work on some numbers or an estimate for it. I mean, you'll see things from Parks and Rec, you'll see things from Public Works and the police department primarily as the capital projects in here. We might have something from planning, but it wouldn't be a lot. And maybe in IT, so.
Anybody got any further questions on the 5-year CIP plan? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Manager. I notice we have on the next line right here is the manager report, and then 11 is the department reports. So
Yeah.
usually I know the manager's report toward the end, but you want to go ahead and do the manager's report?
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I know we have a closed session item tonight.
Yep.
So if we want to move into that and then come back in here after that, which there won't be any other business unless something else is brought up.
So the October reports, that's this,
It's just information only, yeah.
The
we
department reports attached to your agenda.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Mr.
Yeah.
Manager?
So, just going into my comments on some, several different items. So last month, we talked about debris removal in town, particularly these brush piles that have stumps in them, and they're the ones that haven't been picked up by the contractor that the county was working with, and now it's been turned over to the state. It doesn't appear to be moving forward, so I would just recommend in the interest, and I know I emailed you all about this, that we work on an estimate. We did that, Javel Presley and Public Works worked on an estimate for us to do it in-house, and we have to rent some specialized equipment, and there'll be some disposal costs, but he worked on an estimate on it, and it was about $4,700 is what they're estimating to get 10 brush piles and include stumps. We think we can absorb it into their Public Works annual operating budget, so they're going to move forward with doing that starting Wednesday of this week.
Good, very good.
So,
Good.
yeah, so I was glad, Public Works has the ability to do that. They'll have to get some specialized equipment, and there'll be some disposal costs. And another good thing, I guess, on that matter, I didn't have in my notes here, we started taking our brush to a closer location that's $5 less per ton. Garbage Pal, I think is the name of the firm. It's off of Old Hendersonville Road. And so Public Works was made aware of that, so it's less expensive and it's closer than going to the transfer station for Henderson County and doing that. So I was happy to report that, so that'll save us a little money too. So unless there's any questions on debris removal, and the park work is all done, so I won't cover anything else on that. The next thing I wanted to mention was we've had our first application come in for the off right-of-way stormwater grant improvement program, and it's from a resident on Wilkie Way, and we've had some back and forth for some additional detail on it. The first step, again, is you do a field, we have McGill go out and do a field site, and it kind of went past that, probably because they'd already spent a bunch of time out there back with this property owner previously. So he worked on the getting quotes from several different contractors, and it's all within the application, but we were getting some clarification after having our engineer look at it. And so I just got the latest additional information, and basically a sketch plan with some more detail. So then our committee would get together. So this could come, if it's okay, add that back to the regular agenda next week, just for approval. And we have, because the next step is we have a application review committee, and so Trevor's on that, myself, and Javel Presley. So we might try and get together if we have enough information, detail, to have the committee meet and then make a recommendation back to council. So this may come back as an agenda item for the regular meeting next week. And so next thing I wanted to mention was, I know you got made aware of, there was a protest in front of town hall, not about any town business, but the police department were contacted about it initially, and, you know, to kind of get permission since they were getting in closer to our property, even though it is kind of general public domain. But they protested in front of town hall or in the grass median areas, and it was like an anti-fascist group, so kind of along those lines. That was Saturday between 3 and 5, and there wasn't any major incidents or anything. I think they estimated about 15 people out there. So I just thought you might wanted to know, how did that go? Was there any problems?
Thank you.
Yep. So that was that, and then I know some of you were all out at the Halloween crawl, but just want to let you know that that was on October the 25th at Billmore Community Park from noon to 2, and had a really good turnout. I think over 1,000 plus people showed up for it, over 30 vendors.
Yes.
And they had inflatable games, a DJ, trick-or-treating, and they had a hay bale picture area. Jim, you were
Yeah, I
out there
was
with
there.
grandchildren, and so hope you enjoyed it. But that went well, and just wanted to point that out. And then Parks and Rec held their Veteran Salute Breakfast this past Saturday morning, and that went well. And they did it at a different location. We've been typically doing it at Town Hall, but they did it out at Fernleaf at their location off of Old Hendersonville Road. I think they call it the Wilderness Campus. And had about a little over 50 people attend, and that went well. They have a breakfast after the presentation, and they had a quilt group, Quilts for Valor Foundation. So the Quilts for Valor Foundation handed out quilts to 8 different veterans there. So that was a nice event, and something a little different. Usually we just have speakers here, a speakers, and school band and some other things. So that's all I have.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Pass along to Parks and Recs, that another job well done, it sounds like, for this, as always.
I was impressed with the increase in vendors.
Yeah,
That was huge.
and that's a fun event out there for, adults and kids.
All right, agenda item number 12, it's going to be a closed session per North Carolina General Statute 143.318.11. It's attorney-client privilege. If I can have a motion to move into closed session.
Make a motion.
Hear a motion, to hear a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will move into closed session. You want to go back here in the back to the...
Yeah, if we could just go back to the, if you want, in the community room behind us,
Okay.
it's fine.
All right, we'll be back in just a little bit.
Come on back. Here for that.
Thank you.
Got me a walking stick now.
All right, you have a good evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope you do the same.
Thank you.
Drive safely, not everyone does.
Absolutely.
They don't believe what our cost of life.
Oh, yeah, at the time.
I don't know what an answer is. We can't walk. See you.
All right, take care.
Take this off recording here, off pause.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't think that'll be a thing, but, they do quite well. A lot of them in the hotel business, and they seem to be, what's
All right.
that?
Wait for everybody else to...
Well, yeah, I guess we're waiting on them, okay? They don't know the number.
Joe,
There's
sorry.
probably a joke.
Is the meeting?
I just took it off. But
Okay.
it was on still and that was
Okay.
okay. But I
Okay.
just took it off still.
So it's for live now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are. It just, it has this hesitation, big hesitation.
Waiting on Keith. Keith gets off.
I know Jim had stepped away for a second.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's just out.
Back from the closed session, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I hear a motion on the floor. Here a second?
I'll second.
Here a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Meeting's closed. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe, appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep, have a good rest of your week.
All right, thank you. I didn't know we were gonna get into that.
Question.